What is going on, guys? This is All Gaming with my review of Assassination Classroom Episode 1. And this episode, for first episode, I gotta say, to me it was very good. And I knew that after I saw this, I had to bring this to you guys because this series, hopefully it blows up, because I feel like this series, even though I have seen about it, I feel like the anime came about a lot. Now, I have not read the manga, so I'm going in here with like zero knowledge. And I gotta say, this series, it is completely different from what I thought it could be. Now, I had no info, but I did know a little bit about it. Like I knew about the character, the teacher. I knew about him somewhat, but I had no idea just how powerful he really was, because this guy, Koro-Sensei, I believe is the name that they gave him. This guy right here, he is no joke. And so we see now that when the episode starts off, we see something, or we have the view of something like flying through the sky, and we see it now land at this very old looking building. And so we see that the building or campus, it is actually a school for this one class, because this class, it turns out that they're actually, like the lows of the low, and that right there definitely sucks. But we see now their teacher is like some kind of like weird alien, even though he claims to be born on Earth and raised here. Like, this guy is definitely an alien, hands down, no matter what. And so we see now that like when he comes in there and he actually want to take roll call, we see now all these students, they just pull out all these guns and they open fire on him. But this guy, he is like so freaking fast. He was dodging these bullets without breaking a sweat. And not only that, he was still taking attendance, and that right there is just so freaking crazy. And so now we see that after all these students, they have now pretty much wasted all this ammo. They were like actually, like pretty tired. And so we see at first, these bullets, or their ammo, it's not real bullets. It's like actually BBs. And so we see now first, they were thinking that it was possible that he was actually pretending to actually like not really get hit, even though someone there might have hit him. But that right there was not the case, because we see now that when he took one of their guns and used it on himself, he actually blew off one of his tentacles. And so these bullets, or these BBs, they would do no real damage, to a regular human, but to him, they do some serious, massive damage. So obviously, if one did hit, they would know that. And so now we see class. It was going on like very normal for them, but then we get their backstory about who Koro-Sensei is, and like why is he here. And so we learn now that about a year ago, their moon, one day it just blew up. And so now we see people like they were freaking out about that. But then we have Koro-Sensei, who made some deal with the government to actually become a teacher. And this class, the one he being in charge of, they had no choice but to try to kill him, because by the time they graduate, if they had failed to kill him, his next move would have been to blow up the Earth like he did the moon. Because right now the moon, it is now in a crescent shape, and we see that one girl, she pointing out that even though it was daytime, you can still see the moon in the sky. And that right there will probably play a very important role in the series, because obviously with the moon like that now, I would imagine that it definitely cannot rotate normally as it could be able to. So that right there, it's definitely pretty shocking. And so now we know, and we see now that when he first became their teacher, he took that job so calmly that these students, they had no idea how to react. But obviously, they had no choice. And we even see now that when the government, when they had tried to kill him, he was still dodging bullets like crazy. And so this guy top speed, it is actually Mark 20. So I do wonder how in the world can these kids, because if the government around the world can't kill him, then how in the world can these students do it? Because to me it definitely it makes no sense. But I do wonder how in the world will it happen, because that right there I am definitely looking forward to. But now we see that while he was teaching class, we had one girl. She had like tried to shoot him, and of course, that right there would not work, and she actually got punished for it. But this guy, or Koro-Sensei, because he looks down on them so much, he actually does not punish them seriously. He like punished them for a student pulling a harmless prick on a teacher, and so he like sent her. So he sent her to like stand in the corner, and so now we see that when it was lunchtime, we have Nagisa, who is actually our main character, and even though he definitely has kind of like a feminine appearance, kind of like a girlish voice, he is actually a guy, and so we have Nagisa and these other students. They were actually meeting up for a plan because it was like. It was pretty much these three older guys, because obviously they definitely look much older, and we see now that one of them had this plan, and so we see now that he put all this weight on Nagita's shoulders because he was the one that had no choice but to carry this plan out. And so we see now that the reason why this class is called like 3E is because like pretty much their name, it means class N, and pretty much like the worst students of this very fancy prep school, they kind of get banished here when they start doing too badly in the normal branch, I guess you can say. And so we see that when Nagi got like sent to this class, he had like all these friends, but as soon as they got banished, to class 3E, that right there is where they all turned on him. And we even have like one guy saying, I believe like it might have been a guy, but it could have been a girl. I forgot like how their voice sounded. But that person said that they were going so far as to deleting his contact info, so that way they would not be on the same level, and that right there was like definitely cold. But now no one no one really acknowledges him, and not even his own family, and even his teacher was like just so horrible to him. I feel bad for the guy, I really did. And I also forgot that Koro-Sensei, when it was like time for lunch, he had went to some city to get like the best dish of some kind. I forgot what it was, but we learn now that from how far it would take him no less than like 10 minutes to get there if he was going there at top speed. And not only that, he was like actually grading test papers while he was like traveling there, going that fast, and that right there is crazy. And we also saw now that like there was like this one scene in a flashback where they had sent these jet planes after him, and not only was he easily able to dodge their weapons, but he even gave them a fresh coat of paint. Like this guy had a very serious like grooming problem. Like it's pretty much OCD for him, and I gotta say it's hilarious. Now, even though we like saw that with that one government guy and that jet, I would love to see him, I would love to see him pull these hijinks more with the students, because to me that right there will be hilarious. But now we see now that after he came back from lunch, he actually bought a missile bag from here, as a souvenir, and that right there was crazy. But it like goes to show you how powerful he is, because he was saying that like, or to him, no, I believe it was Nagisa that had said, everyone pretty much had their eyes on him because they acknowledge him, but because no one acknowledges Nagisa, he feels like he could take on, Koro-Sensei and possibly kill him. And so now we see back in class, their next assignment was to like make this poem, or poem, like however you want to say it. And so we see now that like Nagisa, he got up, and we see that that is a real plan. It was like a fake out, because at first he like used this knife, because it seems that when like Koro-Sensei glows this like pinkish color, that right there is where he's like at his that right there is where he's like at his weakest point, because that right there is where his guard is dropped. And so now we see now that even though Nagisa did use a knife, that right there was not the main weapon. It was like actually this toy grenade that had exploded, and we see now that like all these bullets came out of it. And so obviously like they would do no damage to Nagisa, but that right there was like still very reckless, and it was also, you know, very messed up if you ask me. But we see, you know, Koro-Sensei, like all you saw like nothing but tentacles, you know, next to him. But we have Nagisa protected by like some membrane, and so pretty much what happened was Koro-Sensei can actually, you know, shed his skin, and that right there definitely seemed kind of cheap, because if he not have that, then that right there definitely would have killed him. But now we see that, you know, when it turns out that Nagisa was not behind that, and it was the other three, Koro-Sensei got pissed. This guy transformed, and we see now that like his skin turned black, his mouth became more beast-like, and even his eyes became, you know, and his eye became, you know, like a lot more slant, looking like a true demon. And we see now that like he was so furious that he left them. And he traveled around town getting all their nameplates, and now he was like threatening them to actually, you know, like even though he could not kill them, that right there would not stop him from like going after their family and friends. And so at first, you know, I was wondering why in the world was he getting so upset, because this right here is what they have to do. They have to kill him. And so it's like he began, you know, like salty about that for no reason. But the real reason why he was like so freaking upset is because, you know, these three, they would not take credit for that, and Nagisa acted way too, you know, like way too recklessly. And so that right there was the real reason why he was like so angry, because to be honest, what they did, it was just like to me, that right there was smart, and he even praised them for that. And so now we see that like once he calmed down, things you know had went back to normal. But we do see in a flashback, you know, we have Koro-Sensei. He was like in some destroyed lab, and we see some woman, you know, like talking to him because she was dying. And so pretty much this woman, she had wanted him, you know, to go teach these kids, and that right there gave him like gave him this drive and resolve to become a teacher. And that right there, I feel like definitely should be expanded on, because I would love to see what happened. And I also wonder, you know, is that a black form, or, you know, like, or what they made black? Is that right there Koro-Sensei, you know, true form? And I do wonder if we will ever see that, because to me, I would love to. And so now we see that like after you know he had calmed down, and they had now, you know, had went back to class. You know, like once again, we have his old habit coming out, and he was cleaning up all these nameplates. And so now we see this girl, because before, you know, she pointed out they had no idea what to call him, because Koro-Sensei never gave them a name. And so now, you know, she had got the name from a, you know, unkillable teacher, which I'm guessing unkillable means, you know, Koro or something. I'm not really sure, because obviously I don't know Japanese. But that right there is like that right there is how we have his name. And so now we see now they have like a little, well they have a year now to kill him. And I do wonder, you know, how in the world, you know, will they do that? Because Koro-Sensei will be the first one to ever acknowledge these kids, especially Nagisa, because right now not only will like Koro-Sensei acknowledge him, but he also might acknowledge, you know, his bloodlust as well. But for our first episode, I gotta say, I was definitely impressed. I loved it. And so I feel like I'm probably gonna give it probably an 8.5 out of 10. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But as always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And you guys take it easy. I will see you all next time.